It is not fair that when you go to the doctor, you have to tell the doctor what happened. I'm hurt. Isn't that enough? Why do we have to get into the whole embarrassing backstory of how I was injured? Because sometimes it's going to be relevant. You know, if you go to the doctor, you're like, my back hurts, and he's like, what happened? I was shot. It's like, that's the information that we need to know. But in my case, it's like, look, can you just check if my nose is broken? It doesn't matter what happened. It won't change whether or not it's broken. I walked into a ceiling fan, all right? And I understand you're thinking to yourself how you're not tall. I was on a ladder, all right? I was on a ladder and I was trying to change the light because this place I was living at the time had these sconces, and the sconces were the ones that were built where the whole sconce is the screw. All right, so you just have to turn this forever. You just have to do this nonstop. There's no like little screws you can grab a Phillips head. You have to turn this forever. So I turned it for what felt like forever. And then as soon as I take it off, I see the bulb. And the bulb is like a bulb I've never seen before. It's like this incandescent looking thing. This is the most Edison bulb I've ever seen in my life. So now I'm Googling on my phone where I can buy this bulb, because you can't just get this at Walgreens. And so now I'm looking at my phone. Admittedly, yeah, I got distracted. I got on Instagram, and I turned around, forgot I was on a ladder, and went to walking. I went to walk off the ladder, and I walked into a ceiling fan, which, to be fair, when they are moving, are invisible. They are. If you got 3 clicks on a ceiling fan, it disappears. If I walked into a ceiling fan that was being still, that'd be very silly. That'd be very dumb. But this thing is, who can know? How can anybody tell? You might have a ceiling fan behind you right now. Don't judge me. And so I walked into and it knocked me. And then, yeah, you know, I went to the doctor. The doctor was like, what happened? I was like, do we really need to, you know, I just wish once I could go to the doctor, and the doctor's like the doctor from the pit. And I walk in and I sit down. They're like, we got a ceiling fan right here. We got a ceiling fan. They just already know what happened and how to fix it. They help me with my personal life, too. Look, don't walk in any more ceiling fans, and you know, you should listen more. Oh, because admittedly, yeah, maybe the ceiling fan saved my life. I was walking off a ladder anyway. There was another time I had to go to the doctor, explain what happened. This one wasn't my fault. All right, I was walking on the ground. I was walking. It was nighttime, which is not the best time to do your walking, but I was walking. It was night, and I was visiting a city that didn't believe in street lights. All right, this is one of those cities where I don't know if it was not in the city planning budget, but they were like, 1 every mile should do it. And so I'm walking across the street, and it's pretty dark, and that's when I get hit. I get hit hard by someone on a bicycle that didn't have any lights on, right? And so from my perspective, though, you gotta stick with me here. All I know is it was dark and it hurt. Like, I can't give you any relevant information to what happened, all right? I was told later I got hit by someone on a bike, but at the time, all I heard was, huh, and then I got hit. I didn't know what had happened. Like, I didn't know if it was a ghost, something being dark and hurting you does sound like the devil. Maybe it was Satan. I have no idea, but I got hit hard, right? I heard, whoop, and then boom. And when you get hit in the dark, you don't know up or down. Especially if you fly. Like, if you get hit hard enough, even when you land, you don't know you've landed. And so, look, this is embarrassing, but okay. So I got hit. And I don't think I like flew, but I definitely was off my feet for a second, right? And so then, because I didn't know what hit me, why I got hit, or where the ground was anymore, I just started screaming. And so I hit the ground, I started screaming, and I tried to run. But when you hit the ground like that, you don't know what the ground is. So I thought I was up against a wall, so I started running, but I wasn't going anywhere. Okay, so when I got hit and I landed like sideways, right? So now I'm trying to run like this because I think I'm touching a wall, but I also may have been concussed, actually. I think... But I started running against the ground because I was like, I gotta get out of here. Oh, it was bad. But I will tell you, one of the worst times to go to the emergency room and have to explain an injury is when you were like backyard wrestling. Like back in the day, just with your friends, backyard wrestling. You know, because you would watch wrestling, you want to do some of the moves. And I'll tell you right now, everybody's got their different metrics for rites of passage and coming of age, being a man. I'll tell you this right now, I made one up on my own. Since they're all made up, I threw one in there too. You're not really a man until you have been put through or put somebody else through a folding table, all right? There's nothing like, so watching somebody go through a folding table is one of the most entertaining things America has come up with, all right? Forget all the art we do, all right? Sending people through folding tables is purely American. You won't even care about what's happening, but then somebody will go through a folding table and you'll be like, that was pretty cool, though. That was actually awesome. One of my friends had to go to the hospital because they were backyard wrestling and they got him in the position, you know, grabbed his neck, and he's over here pretending, oh, what's gonna happen? He knows the table's right behind him. What's gonna happen? Oh no. And then they both jump up together and he gets thrown into the table, and this was a particularly strong table. This table didn't break at all. So this landed on a table. This dude was hurt. I've never seen somebody land on a table so hard and have nothing happen. He slammed on the table so perfect and just stayed where he was. It looked like that one scene in John Wick where they threw him off the balcony and then he just hit the ground and then the camera stopped and you were like, he must be dead. This dude got thrown onto the table, stayed right there, and then in unison, everybody was like, oh! You know, like, we didn't know what we were looking at. We were like, I mean, did y'all buy a real table? What did y'all do? They had to pause the wrestling match because we were all like, so his back must have fallen off, right? Like, I've never seen somebody just be that still. And because it's backyard wrestling, everybody's too close. Like, at least in a stadium. In a stadium, you know, they could whisper things to each other and maybe the crowd doesn't hear. But we all in the backyard. And dude who threw him onto the table came over and he was like, are you okay? And he went. Wait, don't make me laugh. Wait. Stop, wait. He was like, are you okay? And then he went, now you sit in the emergency room, doctor asks you what happened, you're like, the table didn't break. Because going through it's very different than the chair. The chair was a mistake. That's a staple of wrestling that's spilled out into real world fights, and it is a bad idea. The chair, we gotta stop with the chair. The chair, throwing a chair is never exciting because it's too random. Because when you throw a chair, other people in the room are like, I'm not involved with this fight, and I might catch a chair. Throwing a chair is the only time that the audience wasn't having fun in Jerry Springer. Do you know what I mean? Like, people would be doing all sorts of stuff on Jerry Springer, and people be fighting and everything. Everybody, yeah, Jerry. As soon as somebody threw a chair, people, oh yeah. Oh. No, the chair's too much. It makes a satisfying sound, you know, like when somebody gets hit with a chair, backyard wrestling, professional wrestling, whenever you hear that, that's, you're like, oh, he's winning now. I've never really been able to fight. Like, I don't fight. Like, I don't start fights and I don't really fight. But I've been in fights. Like, I have fought. I've been fought, but I didn't fight. Like, and it's not because I'm a pastor. I tried to fight, but I didn't fight. Like, if you had seen me fight, you'd be like, he moving. He is moving, but he's not fighting. Like, you would think being in enough fights, you pick something up. And it turns out you can come to each new fight with the same zero amount of knowledge about how to fight as you had in the last fight. And so sometimes, especially when you're a kid, you fighting with your friends and stuff like that. Or look, maybe you're fighting people who you're really trying to hurt. But you know, I would get in fights every once in a while, and like I just couldn't put it together. I wasn't one of these kids that had like combos and stuff. You know? There was one time I was in a fight and I knew I was losing because I was so, your stress levels, your cortisol's like spiking when you're in the middle of a fight, and I didn't know what to do, and I'm like young, and so I'm just thinking the only fights I've seen so far have been in comic books and wrestling. And so everything I did, I just said out loud, which is the worst version of telegraphing your attack that you can get. I'd be like, punch! Kick, elbow. Now don't get me wrong, that could be cool. That could be cool if you connected. If you connected, that's very cool. Because now you're beating somebody up and you're like, punch, see? Punch, punch. That's dope. I was saying punch and missing. I remember I was in a fight one time, and not only was I fighting, I was tired. No one really in movies or TV take in the tired element of a fight, because it hurts and it takes a while to like swing the way you want to swing, and after you swing and punch air a few times, you're like you can't. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you mid-fight, you're losing. I didn't know the rules of fighting, because here's the thing, when people talk about rules of fighting, it's usually like nothing in the eyes, nothing in the groin, you know, but there are rules to fighting if you're trying to show that you can fight that I broke because I didn't know them. And one of them is taking a nice long deep breath that you need mid-fight. If you are in a fight and y'all back up a little bit and you go, they know they got you. They know, ooh, you're cooked. If you over here, no, we were in this fight, and I was dog tired, and I was losing. I was tired and punched. And so even now, when I'm trying to fit myself, I'm over here. Like, it's not good fighting at all, you know? And we're young, so it's like when you're kids, you're not even really hurting each other because you can't generate the right torque, you know? But I was losing so bad. I knew I didn't know how to fight when this kid did a finishing move on me. Do you know how bad you gotta be fighting for somebody to do a move that doesn't make any sense to advance on you? This is one of the most disrespectful things that's ever happened in my life. So basically, I'm over here, I'm trying to fight him off and everything. And then he had so much confidence. I was fighting so poorly that I instilled the confidence in him to come up with a finishing move, because you could tell this wasn't a move he knew he was going to do that day. Like, this wasn't a go-to move. He literally was fighting it. I was doing so bad, he had time to be like, what else? And so I'm backing up because I'm trying to like catch my breath and figure out how to swing and everything. And this dude ran up, clicked his heels, and punched me in the face. And No, not at all, no. That is not okay. You're not gonna click your heels at me. Oh, yellow brick road attack. You can't. You gonna run up on me and 10 man cowardly lion. Punch me in the face. I got punched. I was still like, what did you just do? Seeing somebody, because he did with like whimsy too. He ran up and punched me in my face. I'm over here holding my eye like I finally understand gun violence. I really do. Because then like, you can't just roll up on somebody and punch them in the face, click your heels in the air. How am I supposed to go to the doctor and tell them I got punched in the face and he clicked his heels? And you embarrassed me in front of everybody. I gotta tell this story to. Even when it happened, I was like, I'm never gonna let this happen again. And then it happened again. That was a different look. It was a different fight. It was a different kid. But then this kid, you know, I had some better cardio by now. Now I wasn't as tired. I wasn't over here being like, I was more like. And this kid, he got me good, pieced me up, right? And then he loved to kick. He was good at kicking. And so he was also tall, so I couldn't get in close and everything. He knew how to keep the distance and stuff. And he saw me at my weakest and decided to, must have seen the other fight because he decided to come up with a finishing move too. But this one made me even more angry because this one just didn't even make any sense. Like he went to kick me, but first he went, and then. That doesn't even help the attack. Ooh, I was furious. I was in a fight one time, and look, this is why you come to get tips on how to fight in the streets. But I didn't know this when I was fighting. Okay, so this kid also kicked me, right? And he kicked me in my hip, right? Which didn't hurt, but it did move me. And when you get kicked in a fight, whether you get kicked or you get punched, no matter what happens, when you're in a fight, I didn't know this, but when you're in a fight, you cannot, under any circumstances, say ow. That will undercut your entire position, all right? As soon as you say ow, you lose it, right? So I got kicked, I was like, ow! And the way he kicked me too, because I didn't know where to put my hands, right? I didn't know, there was a lot that I didn't know about fight. Like even when you were backing up, I didn't know you're supposed to back up like with your whole body as a unit. Like I didn't know that when you're trying to get distance, right? And you staying on your tiptoes and you're staying bouncy, that you're supposed to back up like back, right? I didn't know that it was like back like that. So then I went to back up and I was like, and that that already gave me away as someone who doesn't fight. When you gallop like that, I might as well have had one of those horsey sticks in between my legs. The way that I was thinking to myself, I was like, all right, I gotta do something because he's doing different stuff. And so I thought to myself, okay, maybe I'll be able to pull off a finishing move right now because he kicked me in my hip, which already put my hand out here, right? So in my mind, I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna come around. This is the cross, right? I'm gonna come in and just knock him clean out. Cover right across the chin. He's gonna go to sleep. I'll be standing over him. Look at you now. When he wakes up, I'll be like, tell me what happened. And I was thinking all this in my head in real time. Even as I was swinging at him, I was like thinking about how I was about to knock him out. The problem is my eyes are not the best, which means my depth perception is also not great. And so on the way in, I wasn't doing what I thought I was doing. Like I thought so much about the punch without actually adjusting for the punch. So by the time I saw my fist again, it wasn't like this. It was still like this from over here. So I just go and hit him. I just sort of like hit him in his neck like this. Honestly, by the time my fist was like back in my sideline, I was like, that's not right. And then there wasn't enough time to change it. So I just sort of clubbed him. clubbed him on his chin, and apparently whether you're defending or attacking, you're not supposed to say ow, because I did come back in like, ow! No, it was bad. This is very bad. I'm not much of a fighter, but so much of what my ideas of fighting even are stem from wrestling. Like I loved wrestling when I was a little kid. When I was like 7 years old, wrestling was my favorite. These people were like my heroes, you know. Huge fan of like Kevin Nash, Sting. Sting was big, you know. Goldberg, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I was, and look, you know, I was young and I was watching every week. I was watching religiously. Just these people were incredible. They put on such incredible shows, and they had like these mind-blowing physiques, and they were doing all these stunts. They were picking each other up and throwing each other like they all didn't weigh 300 pounds. I was even a huge fan of Hulk Hogan. Look, we didn't know back then, all right? I didn't know. I was 7, all right? I was 7 years old. I was a huge fan of Hulk Hogan. And look, these are important things to do. When you realize that you're wrong about something or wrong about a person, it's important that you don't just like disappear. That you can say, no, I thought something and then I learned different information. I think one of the reasons we're in the situation we're in now is because everybody digs their heels exactly where they are. Nobody budges about anything. And I can tell you honestly, that was a huge fan of Hulk Hogan, and this is embarrassing to admit, but when I was a kid, I had no concept of tanning. I didn't know what tanning was. I took people at face value. And so when I was 7, Hulk Hogan was my favorite African American wrestler. When you're a kid, you look up to people that are doing cool things you'd like to do that look like you. And every day I tuned in, I was like, all right. I was sure Hogan was black. I was positive. You know what I mean? He had like his swag about him and everything. He was calling everybody brother. I even got the toys. I even got the toys. I remember my first toy, my first wrestling toy was a Kevin Nash action figure. You know, and then I got Sting. Sting even came with his hand so they could curl, so you could put a bat in his hand that came with the set. Goldberg. I even got a Hulk Hogan toy. When I got the toy, admittedly, I wasn't deterred from the idea that he was black because I was used to dollar store toys where they, you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. I've talked about this before. That like those dollar store toys, you know what I mean? Sometimes they don't come like they should, you know, like, or they don't have the right. Like they don't have the rights to make a Superman toy, so they make a Man-Man. No, yeah, if you weren't up on that Man-Man, you gotta get that Man-Man toy. Man-Man was great. He was clearly like 3 different action figures put together of stuff that didn't sell from China. Had like a Superman head, it had a He-Man body. Had the feet of a horse. But yeah, I got my Hulk Hogan toy, and I just thought to myself like, They didn't even finish painting them. They didn't even I'm sure he upset. I mean, over here, this is shoddy workmanship. They didn't finish at all. And look, there are, at least as I see it, 3 different eras of the internet. There's that first early internet where you have to know a lot on your own. People were figuring out the internet with it, if you wanted to do something, you had to really know how to code, or you had to be able to get into a system yourself to get the result that you wanted. And then we entered another era of the internet where it became a little bit more user-friendly. Things were just easier. Navigating, all search, all these things became easier and it became more a part of our lives. And now you fast forward to the present time that we're in, where the computers and the internet at large are completely intuitive. They're doing things for you that you don't even really think to ask for, probably to our detriment a bit, the way that things are so easy that you don't just have autocorrect now, you have predictive text trying to finish your thought as you're typing and everything. And in all 3 eras of that internet, it seems like Hulk Hogan had a leak tape of him saying the N-word. It's just a lot of N-word instances for one person. You know what I mean? We haven't caught Tucker Carlson yet, but we got Hulk Hogan. This is crazy. And admittedly, I remember when that first one dropped, and people were up in arms. And you would think, obviously me being a little black boy, especially from the South, and hearing this ugly, ugly word in so many different settings, you would think that me hearing one of my heroes say something like that would destroy me. Here's this dude saying the ugliest thing that I've heard, before I even understood it. And admittedly, at the time, this tape comes out, and I'm still young, and so I was like, he's black, y'all, he's... And then later, it happened again. I actually found out that Hulk Hogan was white. I was devastated. I was absolutely distraught. I sat there thinking to myself, he pretended to be black all these years. This is unacceptable. Because they have this documentary series on Netflix that came out about Hulk Hogan, tracks his career and stuff like that. And the thing that I find most interesting about Hulk Hogan is that his trajectory, his story feels so deeply American, like every part of it. And it actually feels American in the way that we as a country are experiencing life on the world stage right now. It does. Hulk even fought Iran. He fought the Iron Sheik. But it's true because, I know that, there's Hulk Hogan and then there's Terry. It's Hulk Hogan's real name. It's a tough thing as a child to find out your hero named Terry. It really makes you question your discernment as a child. Never mind you accidentally think he's black, but Terry... Do you know what I mean? Like, just look. I'm sure. With respect to Terrys, all right. I'm sure there have been Terrys that have been heroes in life. Okay, but Terry. It just does sound like the name you scream when somebody's gonna get up and win a fight. If I'm screaming Terry watching a fight, it's Terry, stay down. Terry, no, be still, Terry. Terry, tap out. He doing his finishing move, Terry. Yeah, there's Hulk Hogan and then there's Terry. And people saw a lot less of Terry. Even his family said that eventually, when we were with any of these wrestlers, there's just a little bit of them that slips away. It feels like they're performing all the time, you know, especially, I imagine now. I imagine if you're a wrestler now, it's completely different. At least back in the day, you knew when you were going to be on TV and you knew when you were going to be at home. And now, because everyone has a TV in their pocket, you kind of have to be in character all the time if you want to maintain this character. You can't really let that mask slip. And so there's Hulk, and then there's Terry. Just like there is the American dream, and then there's reality. Because the dream is fire. The dream is very cool. This dream that we have, I'll go ahead and say nothing like it. Nothing like it anywhere else. I don't know of another place that people go to achieve that country's promised dream. Then there's reality, which is a stark difference. At least Hulk Hogan and Terry are the same size. You see the American dream, and then you see reality, and you don't even recognize one from the other. It's just a terrifying juxtaposition, because you have people that will fight tooth and nail just to set foot on the soil and have a chance to start a life that is that dream. And then you have the reality that even if you, by chance, by luck, were born here, you don't have to climb, you don't have to crawl, you don't have to swim, you don't have to fight, you don't have to barter, you don't have to beg to get over here. You're already here. And then you look around and you're like, this feels like a poor country. I don't know. I'm not the only one not doing well. It's kind of everybody. When I was a little kid, there was a child who made it to the U.S. from Cuba on a raft. And there was this whole debate, like political debate, but also like a genuine moral debate of if someone is willing to do what is tantamount to the Olympics to get here, should they have a place? Should we take someone in? Isn't that the whole Statue of Liberty thing? Like, shouldn't we take somebody in if they are fighting tooth and nail to get here, and they do more than any of us as citizens have ever had to do to gain the ability for a chance at life here? And so you had some people that were saying, no, look, there's a process, you have to do it the right way, you got to send this kid back, right? And then there were people saying, absolutely, you have to take people in. There are people in need, and we have more than enough, at least as a country. At least as a country, we're the richest country in the world, we have more than enough. We should be able to find some resource to help you out. And then there were people like me at that time. I was also a kid. And I was like, he doesn't know it's pretty bad over here. Like, it's actually... Ooh, as a citizen, I have horrible news about my life so far. No. I think that's one of the reasons we turn to like entertainers and that escapism for an ideal about ourselves, because at least there it's a little bit easier to feel like that thing is real. Everything that Hulk Hogan went through to become Hulk Hogan and to become the heavyweight champion was like an American dream. You know, he didn't grow up with money. He had to fight. He had to break his body. He had to be given chances, and then he had to take every opportunity possible, even when those opportunities looked like they were slipping him by. You know, Vince McMahon gave him a choice. This is the dad senior, right? He gave him a choice. He was like, if you go do that Rocky 3 movie instead of your promo that you're supposed to do for me, you're fired. And he went and did the movie, and that was a risk because he didn't know what Rocky 3 would do for him. Turns out it catapulted him into stardom. Taking chances is part of what America's supposed to be all about. And then he goes to absolute war with the Iron Sheik at Madison Square Garden. He wins and becomes the heavyweight champion. He's everybody's hero. Even his dad who never understood why he went into wrestling, his dad said on camera how proud of him he was. Seems like that was maybe the first time that Terry had ever heard those words. He's like, I'm proud of my son. And he said, I think you did the right thing. But for years up until that point, he was like, why can't you be more like your brother? Why didn't you go to college? But it wasn't until that day, Madison Square Garden, thousands and thousands of cheering fans and watching your son in real time achieve his dream that you didn't even think was possible. How can you not look at that and say, yeah, absolutely. That's what the American dream is supposed to feel like. And the reality is very different. The reality and the truth of the matter is that these people, like Hulk Hogan, are truly one in a million. Not because of talent or grit, not because of like hard work or anything, not even because of luck. They are one in a million because the odds and the way that the deck is stacked does not work that way. You don't just get to the top by working hard. It's just not true. Hard work is an element of people who've been very successful, but I meet people every day who work incredibly hard, and they're not going to make more at their job than they're making now. You know, I've been there. I've worked at restaurants where I've worked as hard as I could, and then I was like, okay, yeah, I guess it was worth $36. You know, because you're not actually rewarded according to your hard work. You're not usually rewarded according to your talent or even by merit. Half the time you're rewarded because of who you already know, through relationships, sometimes just through, you know, who your parents are. I'm not saying that's the entire way the world works. I'm just saying more of it works that way than it does the other way. And so I was watching Hulk Hogan as this kid, and I'm watching him towards the tail end of his career because he's wrapping up wrestling by the time I'm becoming a wrestling fan. And I'm just proud to see, you know, a black man out there achieving his dreams. It meant a lot to me. And then you see, I don't know, you see things shift. You see things shift. Like Hulk Hogan went away from me for a long time. I didn't really keep up with him at all through the years. I only really heard about Hulk Hogan through leaked N-word tapes. But I finally saw him again a while back. He was at the RNC. And he was ripping his shirt for Donald Trump. Yeah. When I was watching it, I was like, I don't fully get why you would do what you want. Do you know what I mean? There was a part of me that when I saw that happen, I didn't even have the pang of like, oh no, one of my childhood heroes, because I had stopped liking Hulk when I found out he lied about being black. You know, if anything, I was watching him rip his shirt to the RNC and like, look, a fraud campaigning for a fraud, okay? You know what I mean? We're at war, and we don't even know why. We're just doing stuff. We have no idea why. We're just doing things. At least Hulk knew why he was wrestling Iron Sheik. If you asked him, like, what are you doing this for? The world title, brother. Ask any of us why we're at war. We look like people who don't know, and we don't know. It's one thing to not know what you're talking about, but then just finesse it, or like just throw something out there, you know, and just try to get away with it. But you look at Pete. Look at Pete Hegseth. He does not look like someone who knows why he's at war. He just know he at war. Marco Rubio trying to gaslight everybody. I've told you why we're at war several times. I've told you something. This is the same stuff that like my parents would do if I asked like a good question as a kid. Whenever you ask a good question, adults be like, we already went over this. It's like, no. My life was short so far. I remember everything that has happened, and we did not talk about this. No, you're not slick. We didn't go over this 1,000 times. We haven't. I remember. This morning was most of my life so far. Like, you're not gonna trick me. Even Trump doesn't know why we still at war. He tries to act like he does. But you notice every other post he does, the war is over. I feel like he's trying to do that until it's true. Like he can confuse Iran, be like, we're not even over there anymore. Like Iran comes to the peace talks and he's like, y'all still talking about old stuff. I've moved on. I don't even... No, because this is bad. This is bad. This is very bad. This is very, very bad. I watch the news and have the opposite feelings. You know, I used to watch wrestling and wish it was real. No, it's even crazier that Trump is involved with both. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's on the news all the time, but he was in WWE. He's in the Hall of Fame. This dude took everything he learned from wrestling and put it into politics. And now we're over here paying the price. That was one of the goofiest timelines I've ever seen. This doesn't make any sense at all. Man, this is bad. What are we gonna do? Do you know what I mean? Like this dude. The thing that I think also happened with Hulk is apparently he was a very bad sport about ever putting someone else over. And in wrestling, putting someone over means like letting them win the match and then doing it in a way that looks convincing, like making them look really good. You know, like he had that epic, one of the best wrestling matches of all time with The Rock. And in that one, The Rock won. And look, maybe Hulk was happy to do it, I don't know. But apparently, throughout his career, he really didn't want to put someone else over. I feel like we are in the same predicament as a country. All we ever want to be is number one. We think of ourselves as number one. Even people who haven't traveled. That does blow my mind. That whenever people are like, this is the best country in the world, I'm like, where else have you been? They're like, Nebraska. Like, what are you doing? You don't get to say that unless you've been to at least one other place. You don't know. The thing that's so frustrating about where we are, especially right now, is that the mask is sort of off, and they've already told you that all the money that they have is going to be used to destroy other people's lives instead of improve yours. You know, because you could have a better quality of life, and everything that you want, we're going to spend to make sure someone else doesn't have it. So I guess there's that. Number one in so many different things. Got most money. Got biggest military. We also like the number one in serial killers too. I don't know any country doing it the way we do it. I'm not seeing, I go to other countries and watch their Netflix and they don't have any of the Netflix documentaries that we do about the very specific kill. Even our serial killers are running out of gimmicks to try to stand out. Yeah, I don't know anybody out here serial killing like us. Do you know what I mean? Like every once in a while I guess they catch somebody, but that's like a very specific type of like psychopath. We over here got people, they're just like, I don't know, I just feel like dressing up like a doll and killing everybody. It's like we have a very specific type of thing happening here I don't see anywhere else. Number one. It's our obsession, because if we're not number one, then who are we? Most of what we're doing right now is to stay number one. We will be number one at all costs, no matter what it does to us, to our reputation, to the rest of the world. We will be number one. In fact, if we can't be number one, we'll just crash the entire world. And it just kind of feels the same as, you know, Hulk Hogan never wanted to put somebody over. It's like, and for a little while that didn't bother me. It didn't. Like seeing Hulk always win, even though clearly the other person was like a better wrestler, or I even liked them a little bit more. But I gave like Hulk a pass because I was like, he's a black man out here trying to do his thing. But some people look around now and they don't even recognize their country. And look, you can make the very fair point that what they even thought they were seeing in the first place wasn't actually what was happening. That was part of the character, the facade of what America was, because it's something different to everybody. But when you look around the world, it's not the way that it was. I travel a good bit, and whenever I tell people I live here, they're always like, oh. You know? And so it's a hard thing to contend with, because you look at someone like Hulk, right? And Hulk would be in all these commercials, once again, cartoons, he'd do all these events for kids and everything, and he would even say to them on TV and in person, you want to be like the Hulkster, you work hard, say your prayers, and take your vitamins. Right? And even as a kid, I was like, vitamins? Vitamins, sir. Vitamin. Look, I take my vitamins every day. I take my Flintstone vitamins every single day, and I'm not seeing your type of gain, sir. Sometimes I sneak a second one. Sometimes I have Barney and I have Fred in the morning. Still not. I'll look up. No, it's not. Vitamins. That was. That's a tough one. You know, I'm ready to OD on Flintstone vitamins. Trying to be just like Hulk Hogan. And then there's the scandal over that. I don't know if you remember that, but that was huge. There was even a court case about it. Vince McMahon was on trial. Hulk Hogan was out here going on Arsenio Hall saying that he had never taken steroids at all. He just, you know, he's like, the only time I took steroids was prescribed by a doctor for my surgery. I don't take steroids. I don't do that stuff. And then America, the whole country, everybody watched Arsenio Hall, and everybody that heard about it was like, huh? Come on, Hulk. Vitamins? No. But then there was this big scandal because he admitted that he did take steroids eventually, and I think a lot of people, myself included, were like, duh. But there was also some genuine hurt there, because once again, this guy said, if you want to be like me, all you got to do is work hard, say your prayers, and take your vitamins. And I've been skinny all my life, but that was one point where I was like, I've been sneaking these vitamins. doing these push-ups. Man. A lot of people were like confused and hurt by that. But once again, a character can be perfect. A person can't be. You know, a character can make all the right moves and justify everything for the sake of the story, and reality just doesn't work that way. But it is a wild thing that Hogan died before Trump. That's surprising. That's very surprising. Come on now. A dude who worked out every day. I understand he took steroids. I get the steroids are, they grow all your muscles and your heart is a muscle and you get complicated. I understand. I also understand that he wrestled and he took a bunch of like pain medication stuff. Like there are complications in there. But also, come on. Do you know what I mean? Like if I were fate and I took a bet, and because the bet I had to take Hulk Hogan first, I'd be like, that doesn't make sense. Like, that. Come on now. No, that's wild. I understand he took steroids and he didn't have the healthiest lifestyle, did some drugs and stuff like that, but also, like, this man full of fried chicken. This man, at any given point, I've never seen a picture or video of Trump where he didn't look like he just finished a fried chicken. I'm telling you right now, sometimes I just see crumbs. Y'all know you see these crumbs. Sometimes I just see a couple crumbs. I'm like, what is that? That's either, now I understand tanning. Now I know what tanning is. So that's either skin coming off or it's crumbs. We got a president with crumbs on him all the time. Every time I see Trump, he look like he finished a snack. He's full of crumbs. We have a crummy president. This man is covered in crumbs. At best it's dandruff, but I think it's crumbs. I don't know. I know crumbs when I see them. Yeah, no, it's weird. It's very weird. Because it doesn't even feel like Hulk is gone in a way. Not really. Like, I don't know. Any day now I expect another tape to come out and like I said another tape come out, he'll be like, listen, brother, well, that's not the type of language we use over here anymore. Because it just feels like when I travel, it's kind of expected now, but there's this reaction. And that reaction it reminds me of when, Hulk would come out and expect to be loved and was getting booed. And it's like, well, yeah, dude, they sort of found out who you were, so there was, And then you can't really now separate the person from the character because the person drives everything the character does. And it's not until you get a little older that you come to that realization. And America works the same way. There's the American dream and then there's reality. There's the ideals of America and then there's what we actually do. There's life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Those are three very big things that sound very good. And it's hard to find like any of the three now. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how much liberty you feel, but I don't feel great. I don't feel fantastic, And there are some people that do that sort of contorting of their worldview to fit the narrative for the story that's in front of them. You would see it happen with Hulk, where people who stayed diehard Hulk fans and didn't care whether he was good or bad would come up with any justification within the storyline for why he was doing what he was doing. Even if Hulk had turned heel and then attacked somebody in a sketch for no reason, they'd be like, well, he was standing there. Why was he standing there if he didn't want to get run wild on? And you see some people do the same thing with every action the country takes. There are some people that, never mind what they said in 2020. I remember the mask. Remember the mask. Remember when it was like, this is tyranny. Look, I understand if you didn't like it. Like, I didn't love it. I definitely felt like I was snorting mask all day. But like, this is tyranny. Tyranny. This is tyranny. This is tyranny. The tyranny. And now some of those same people, I've watched it because I have Facebook. I've watched some of those same people. You scroll up enough, this is tyranny. And now they're like, of course you should carry proof of citizenship on you at all times. Even if you're a citizen, they don't know. The ICE officers are just doing their job. And I'm like, oh man, you've never met tyranny. That is crazy. That's wild. You're supposed to have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We can pursue. I think we're doing a pretty good job of pursuing. We pursue pretty well. We pursue the same way that like a rabbit on a treadmill pursues a carrot stick in front of like. No, we're trying, but I don't know. This is life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, right? And even life. I don't know if you've noticed our lives, but man, feels like we've had a lot of our lives sold over. Like almost feeling like it's been sold out of our hands to a degree. I mean, you look around and people can't even control the circumstances around them when it comes to environment. You might buy a home, an already nearly impossible feat for the average American, depending on where you live, and you buy this home and you take a risk just so that you can own something. You can own a piece of America. You can have your own land, your own little kingdom to yourself that you feel safe and secure, that you know that you worked for. Because remember, hard work, right? It's a staple. But then the data center moves in and skyrockets your electricity bill up, is making constant noise, poisons your water and everything. I mean, that doesn't feel like much of a life. Or when you were just living, wherever you were living, and then companies decide to dump in the water source because it'll be cheaper, or companies decide to lobby as much of Congress as they can to cut regulations so then they can just exhaust from their refineries and factories at will, which poisons your air. They don't live there. The people that work in the place might. The people who are also in your situation, just like fighting to get by and make some money so that they can live, they might live around you, but the person who owns the factory never does. You're supposed to have life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. We are entitled to these things. But then you get gaslit to the point where if you say you're entitled to anything, you somehow have it flipped on you and you sound like some sort of freeloader. But these are my entitlements because I work hard, I pay my taxes, I do everything I'm supposed to do. And it has you sitting there feeling like a bit hopeless because you did everything that you were supposed to do. I worked hard. I said my prayers, took my vitamins. I don't look anything like Hulk Hogan. This is devastating. I've been living a lie this whole time. You have no idea how many vitamins I took. It might have stunted my growth. I took a lot of vitamins. I was taking everything I could because I was sure. I was like, that's good. Oh, that's a big word. No, it just feels so incredibly rigged, the political system, financial system. Even when you get a little bit of money and you try to use it to get ahead, not even, look, there's jealousy and envy all over the world. That's not like a thing particular to us, but you try to get ahead, and I'm not even talking about ahead of other people. Let's say you have the best of intentions and you don't care about the Joneses and you're not trying to get ahead of your neighbor. You're just trying to get ahead so that you have some breathing room for being ahead. You have some breathing room for yourself, so that you're not coming home from work every day like in a fight that you feel like you're losing, you know what I mean? And so you just try your best to get ahead. And then even our financial system doesn't do you any favors, because now I guess we're just a casino. I don't know if you saw those soldiers that got charged for placing bets on like Poly Market, Calcia. I don't remember which one they used, but they placed bets on basically things that they knew were going to happen because of military operations that they were a part of. So, you know, people that went and grabbed Maduro, they took a bet. And I don't know how much they made. $400,000? $400,000? That's it? That doesn't feel good at all. It's one thing to be corrupt, but like you gotta double down. If you're gonna do something, that is inexcusable. I hope they go to jail for longer now. If I was the judge, I would be like, you don't have the sense to take a loan. You can't just, you know you going. Did you not have faith in the operation? You know you going, and you didn't even take out as many loans as possible. 400,000. That's the thing. That's ooh, that makes me so mad. That really does. That's up there with politicians being cheap to buy. You know what I mean? Like you got these politicians going to jail, and then you look at what the thing was, whatever the bribe was they took. Because like lobbying is like legal bribing. So it's like if you get charged with bribing as a politician, you did it extra dumb. You did it. You did it loud. If you're a politician and you get charged with bribery, I mean, honestly, you like one of the bank robbers who actually say everybody's name while they rob the bank. You know what I mean? Tyler, tie him up. Tyler, or do you have any more zip ties? Tyler. I'm furious. $400,000. Maduro would have paid you that. Maduro would have paid you that to stay. That's crazy. 400,000. Ooh, I feel sick. You know what I mean? Like, we can't even do corruption right. Like, this is embarrassing. Ooh, I'd be so mad. Ooh. $400,000. And who knows how long they're going to go to jail. Look, because it's jail, $400,000 is not only not enough to be worth it to go to jail, but like $400,000. They'll be pardoned. Yeah, I guess they'll be pardoned. That's true. That's true. That's true. No, that's fair. That's fair. They'll get a pardon. But that makes it worse. Because now it's like I bet you Trump won't even pardon him, because he'll be like $400,000. I don't pardon losers, all right? $400,000 is such an embarrassingly low number for what you had. You had intel. You had actual intel and a bet that like only you could place. Imagine if you were allowed to bet and people actually got in on it, of the next step that you might take if you're going to use your left foot or your right foot, something only you know. And then you're like, how much money you want to put? Only you know. Just in case I'm wrong, I'm not going to put the house on it, okay? What if I think right and I go left? Like, oh, I hope they don't get a pardon. That's so stupid. 400,000. Oh, I'm gonna lose my mind. I actually like this. Yeah, this is bad. Ooh wee. Imagine if I even knew somebody. If I had a friend, right? If I had a friend who robbed a bank. And came to my house. So now it's like implicating me, potentially making me an accessory. And I was like, what, you know, this is someone I've known for a long time. I at least want to get to the bottom of the story. I can't believe you would do something like this. You robbed a bank? Did you hurt anybody? Did you, like, what was even what were you thinking? How are you going to get rid of this money? How are you going to clean this money? You didn't think. And how much did you steal? Around like 400,000. I'd be like, I'm calling the police right now. I'm calling the police because you know what? You didn't do. You robbed a bank. Did you just leave some? Was it too heavy? $400,000. That's I don't even know what they're gonna do to him, but I hope it's bad. $400,000. You had sensitive material intel and a bet that was a sure thing, and you were like, I'm gonna take home a dentist salary. We gotta do better as a country. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if we're gonna be a scam country, we gotta be a scam country, you know? NFTs went for millions. NFT, worthless now. You remember that NFT that sold for, I think it was like $62 million, whatever like that, right? Now, apparently, it's worth $2,300. I know. And look, the person who bought it clearly had that money to spend and wanted to be in the headlines and was just, you know, a vanity buy. You know, some impulse thing that this person can do because they're rich. But even the artists themselves and the market, even though we knew it didn't quite make sense, it didn't really make sense because you were getting a JPEG of a picture that wasn't it. Is my picture, I own the picture, but then you got a JPEG of the picture. Apparently, a JPEG picture is more expensive than the actual picture that I own. But then I have the real one, and then you have. I know a scam when I see one. Like you have a picture of the picture, but I have the picture. I have the painting, right? And then you're like, this thing's valued at $100,000. I was like, oh, actually, I have the painting, and the painting they say is worth $20,000. So there's no way a picture of the picture is worth $100,000, and the picture is only worth $20,000. No, it is. No, it is. It is though. It is. For 2 years, and then it's not at all. And then it's not worth a dime. People bought NFTs that then ended up losing the link. So then you would go and it'd be that little, you know, that little question mark with a valley next to it? That would be your 100,000, right? That little question mark, little valley. Might even make that old Windows 95 sound. Huh? You know, you remember that? You remember when there was an error somewhere? Huh? Like, it was worth so much money until it wasn't. But even a $62, $64 million purchase that ends up being $2,300 is not as dumb as knowing what's going to happen for your bet and walking away with $400,000. And I don't even know how to like navigate it right now. Admittedly, I don't. I can't tell people what to do. I know that there are people much smarter, much braver than me, already organizing, already running for office, already pushing for a better country. And I think that it's important that we give those people our time and attention, and we point our efforts towards the things that they're doing, you know? Because I can't tell anybody what to do. And even if I tried to tell people exactly what to do, brick by brick, I don't even know if you should listen to me, you know? I thought Hulk Hogan was black for way too long. Before I came here in San Francisco, there was a pirate. No, it gets worse. There was a pirate threatening a tourist from Brazil with a blowtorch, right? which as a pirate you really shouldn't even have, because you're supposed to be on boats, you're supposed to be around a lot of wood, you shouldn't even have a blowtorch. That's not even a useful weapon for you, right? It should have been a sword, it should have been like a flint pistol, something. That would have made sense. If he had a flint pistol and he pulled it on him, even in the streets of San Francisco, I'd be like, he's on theme. But a full-on blowtorch, how, right? And when I tell you that this man was a pirate, I don't just mean that he was dressed like a pirate. I think he was a pirate. Like, I think he didn't seem like land was treating him well, okay? And so now he has a blowtorch, right? And he's cursing out this person who apparently is this tourist from Brazil, which also, if you're a tourist, I'm not saying don't go to San Francisco, but I'm saying if you are an international tourist coming to the United States, especially for the first time, and the first thing that happens when you get here is a pirate. A pirate roll up on you with a blowtorch, which in any language is confusing, by the way. Like, you don't need to be speaking English to understand that this is a wild scenario that's happening right now, right? And so, you know, they're over here arguing. Now, the person who really saved the day was someone that worked at a coffee shop that saw what was happening outside, right? And so then they ran up and they were sneaking up behind the pirate, right? Getting real. Yeah, and it was one of those sneak ups where I was like, ooh, if he turned around, you cooked. Like, if he turned around, because he was quick with it, but he was very smooth with all his movements, but it took him a while to like get close, right? Like, he was. You know what it looked like to me? Okay, you know, like when you go to the zoo and something went wrong, and so then one of the zookeepers is like trying to get them back in the cage. Or they trying to like let them know that that kid in front of you, that's not food, but they getting close real slow, like they're just like, okay, buddy, all right. It's because you know what it is? You can tell the level of danger somebody knows they're in as they're approaching by the hip movement. Because he wasn't just walking up like sneak up, he really like was pivoting as he was getting in. He was like, all right. Okay, all right. It feels like if you use hips only to move forward, nobody will hear you. It's like almost a universal thing when people try to sneak up, you know? That's why you don't see, you know, you like, that's not how your grandparents sneak up or whatever, because if they tried it, you know, like if your grandma tried to sneak up behind you real good and everything, you just be hearing. So she's like, I'm gonna have to lean, right? But anyway, this dude is like sneaking up behind him, getting real close, and in an instant, snatches the blowtorch and runs off, right? So now we've sort of neutralized the main threat. But the pirate was like, you think I need that blowtorch? I'm a pirate in San Francisco. On the streets in 2024, I don't need weapons. My presence alone is a threat. And so then somebody's filming the whole thing, which normally I'm like, why do people do this? Why do people film instead of help? You know what I mean? Like, why do people just from afar and then they're filming, and this is another person who could have been helping that because that guy's sneaking up by himself. He's just, you know what I mean? But then, as someone who watches all the videos, I do get it. Like, I do. You want to criticize it, but if it wasn't for this guy filming, I wouldn't know this was happening. This didn't make the news. It's just regular San Francisco 5 p.m., right? So then, you know, sneaking up, snatches the blowtorch, runs off, right? Now, as he's running off, now this was almost cinematic. You couldn't have planned this better. Because as the coffee shop worker who was running off with the blowtorch passes the camera, like right as his head passes the camera, you see that the pirate had already started punching, right? So it was just boom like that, right? Now this guy tries to roll with it, and he had good form, especially for a tourist that is being approached by a pirate. I would have just been hit. I would have just been like I don't think I would have moved. Like, this dude really rolled with the punch. Now this is when the two 1, 2. Nudists. Come into the picture, right? Because there were some nudists that were there anyway. They were going to be naked no matter what. So when the two nudists come up, they're like, this is what we do. We didn't get, because a part of you, if you don't know anything about the culture, you thinking like, oh, they see a pirate, they're like, it must be safe to get naked. They just let you do whatever you want. So they were naked anyway, right? So then one of the nudists sees what just happened, sees that this tourist has been assaulted by this pirate. So then he run up and come in with his, it was really beautiful sequence, because basically the pirate was like, bow, right? And then the nudist comes up and it's like, bow. And then when the nudist swings, okay, so the nudist hit so hard that he did lose his footing, right? So then him and the pirate both fall. And now this is the first point in time where the pirate looks like somebody in this scenario is more uncomfortable than me, right? Like because you see, okay, so the pirate punches that dude and he's clearly like having his own journey, right? But what snaps him back to reality in a moment's time is not only being hit by the nudist, but when they both fall, you can see the pirate. Okay, so the pirate his back is to the camera and you can't really hear him, but you can hear this little like, and then him and the nudist are getting up. Now, if you think, I try to put myself in the mindset of everybody involved in the video, right? Because there's a lot going on, you know? We already got this hero who snatched the blowtorch. Now, this person, we don't know how long they've lived in San Francisco. We don't know how long they worked at the coffee shop. We don't know how long they've known this pirate, right? But the way they sprung into action, you could tell it was like, I have to do something, right? They took it upon themselves. Now, as the tourist, I've already mentioned, you being accosted by this pirate, that's weird enough to make a person freeze, right? But for a second, I want all of us to put ourselves in the mind of the pirate, all right? Because the pirate, we don't know exactly what was going through this individual's mind, but we know it was something to do with maybe this tourist, maybe he thinks this tourist stole some of his booty, maybe he thinks, maybe the tourist is standing on the X that he's trying to dig right now. We don't know what's going through his mind, okay? All we know is that he feels emboldened enough and passionate enough to start swinging. And as soon as he starts swinging, he gets a right cross from out of nowhere. He doesn't know anybody else is in this situation with him except this guy. And so then he gets his right cross, so he fall, and then the person that hit him also fall. And then when he looks forward, he sees a naked man. So you can see, even on the pirate, like, oh, I didn't sign up for this. This is too much. Wouldn't that be funny if the pirate was like, I'm a Christian, I don't really. But the pirate is also like getting up and everything. Now, the nudist was fast. So the nudist got up before the pirate really knew what happened, because you could tell the pirate calibrating. Like, when did he get naked? Was he always naked behind me? You could tell the pirate got other stuff on his mind. So he tried to get up, but he's also like, when did this guy? And so then the nudist gets up, and the nudist tries to get another lick in before the pirate can get up, because to be fair to everybody involved, you don't know how quick and strong this pirate is, right? Like, is this a PCP pirate, or is this a meth pirate, or is this a crack pirate? We don't know. There are categories, and we don't know which one he falls into. You got your first lucky shot on him, and that didn't knock him out, so now you're in trouble, right? So the nudist gets up quick, and when the nudist, okay, he goes to do this thing that you really only see happen in like bus fights, where the pirate's still on the ground, and he tries to do a little like pow, like he tries to do like an uppercut as he's getting up, and I think he misses. He either missed or it didn't faze the pirate at all. He probably got hit and was still like, where did this guy come from? Because also the nudists were white, and so it's on top of seeing a naked man, you just seeing like, you seeing shades of pink coming at you. Because you got to remember, this dude is ready to fight. So you're not in a regular fight with another dude. Like, also, by the way, I'm pretty sure if I remember the video correctly, the tourist has not left, but he has taken... He's taking the position of an audience member. He's just like, yeah, he's crazy. And so then the pirate tries to get that extra lick in, and I think he missed and everything. And then the pirate, they have a couple more little scuffles because you can tell that the pirate trying to like fight, but he's not trying to get too close. Which is, look, as far as a tactic, because there's a lot that people don't know about martial arts, there's a lot people don't know about self-defense. And it didn't occur to me until I saw that video that man to man, for real, like if you ever in a fight and you don't really want to fight, and you know your opponent doesn't have a gun, right? It's just man on man, fisticuffs, right? It would help to get naked. I think the level to which somebody want to fight you goes down the more naked you get. You know what I mean? Like if we have, like you bigger than me, if we have problems right now and you coming at me, but I'm just, like that switches things up for you. Because now you like, what am I going to punch? Like, am I going to, because even if you win and you don't really want to, even if you punching, you just don't really want the risk of touching balls like that. Like if you, because let's say we go in head body, but then I go high and you go low, and now all of a sudden my whole knuckles get grazed. But you see, y'all groaning, but I'm right. You don't want to fight now. Next time somebody try you in the street, fellas, just start. Because dudes already take their shirt off. The problem is they not stopping. That's the problem. They're not stopping the whole fight by just taking the rest off. Because the shirt is like, you're not going to be that encumbered by the shirt, right? Might as well drop the pants. Yeah. Even take the shoes off. Really confuse them, right? Yep. And so you can tell that the pirate really doesn't want to like fully get in there. And so the whole thing starts to just fall apart. And the whole time I was thinking like, wow. I was trying, once again, put myself in the mindset of everybody involved. Like we went through what the tourist must have been thinking, what the pirate must have been thinking. Even the nudist. Nudist had to have something going on in his head to be like, I have to help. This guy's a blowtorch. And even though somebody just took it from, he's clearly trying to attack this person. He just attacked this person. I need to do something, right? I should call somebody. But you don't have any pockets. I wonder if he reached for it too. Like, we need to get the police. I guess it's me then. Then he ran in like a Superman with his balls out, right? But what I really can't shake is what must have been going on in that second nudist mind. Because both nudists, they were together, by the way. I don't want you to think in the story there was one nudist and then another nudist. They knew each other, right? Maybe they were just walking, enjoying a day, sunning. And then they see all this yelling going on. What was that? What could be happening? And then they see this guy has a blowtorch to his side. They're like, oh, I hope he doesn't intend to use it. And then, they see this guy strike, and then, first nudist just jumps in, starts swinging. Doesn't really have his footing right, doesn't really have his hands ready, but he's trying. That second nudist must have been like, damn, I think they got it. Like, I think they good, you know what I mean? I do like how, I'm not saying they waited in a way that, I don't mean this person was being courageous for stepping in, but I do understand the self-preservation that takes place where you wait to jump in till that blowtorch is gone, because I'm naked. That blowtorch might burn that tourist, but it would change my life. Yeah. No, it's wild stuff. Oh, I also want to say real quick, thank y'all so much for coming to the show. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you for an amazing weekend and everything. You know, I don't know, you know, when y'all might have seen me for the first time or anything, or, you know, what maybe video it was. I've been posting to YouTube for like a year now, and I started it a year ago where I was just like, I was like just sharing like my thoughts on things, sharing my jokes, feelings on stuff, and I appreciate it because it really, I don't know, that was the thing that really turned everything around, and I got to, in some ways, like meet you, and now I'm getting to meet you for real, and I appreciate this opportunity because it's like, I don't know when you may have seen your first video, or if you even know who I am. You might be like, she brought me. Like, that's also very fair. I will not be offended at all. Right? But I appreciate you, for real. I appreciate you taking a chance on me and coming here to have a good time and letting me talk to you and everything. I've done lots of shows that were not. I've done shows where they didn't know I was coming, right? Like I've done shows where they booked me to do the show, and then I show up, and they're like, "Oh, we also gonna play the Blackhawks game behind you." And I'm like, "Oh, does anybody want a show?" He's like, "No, it's a surprise." Don't surprise. So I've definitely done shows that were, you know, on the rough side because people weren't there to hear what I was gonna say, and I get it. I do get it. That's why I don't take anything lightly, that I get to be here in front of you, and everything that I say, I'm not always going to be perfect, but I try to be thoughtful about what I'm saying, you know. And I think sometimes when you bring something up, because you do comedy, people think whatever you bring up, you're making light of to trash it, or you're making. That's why sometimes people get uncomfortable when you talk about anything and you're a comic. They're like, "Oh, this person's going to be." It's just going to be shitty, right? They're going to be shitty about a thing that I care about, and just because I'm talking about something doesn't mean I'm belittling it, right? Like there's a lot of stuff that I take very seriously, but I still feel like I need to talk about because conversation is important, you know? And, oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks. We'll see. It's been a like scary day, you know? It has. It's like, I mean, I hope you're not finding out from me. But someone, at a rally, someone, don't do that. I'm just telling you what happened. At a rally, someone shot at Trump while he was doing his rally, and I still don't know. There's so much we don't know, but some people say it was a bullet and some people say it was glass, but either way, he got a cut over his ear, and the person that was behind him got shot, and they died, right? And they've apparently shot the suspected gunman and everything, and it's just, it's one of the wildest days in a long time, because there are days that are like checkpoints throughout American history. Like we had a birth as a country, and then, you know, you can set the checkpoints wherever you want, but there are big ones. There are big ones like the country starts and then there's a civil war later, right? And the Civil War is a turning point for the country forever. You know what I mean? There are people that even now say like we're more divided than ever, and I like to remind them that we did have a civil war. You know what I mean? Like then ever, then you need to read a history book. Then ever. Ever? No, not ever. You know? So you have something like the turning point that happens due to a civil war, which even now, even to this day, hundreds of years, there are people that are hundreds of years removed from the people leading up to the civil war that were in their family, that they still have
differing opinions on like the Civil War, why it happened, how it went down, what should have happened, right? And then you have Lincoln's assassination. That's another turning point for the country forever, right? Because once things are put on the table with time, they're never taken off. There's always something that could happen, you know? And then you fast forward more, and we've had turning points. We've had really scary days. And people can belittle it as much as they want or whatever, but we've had times where we're like, oh, are we a country anymore? And so you see those moments like that, right? And there are people who are even now, they're afraid, right? They're afraid that there's going to be another version of the Civil War, right? Because the people that hate people so much throughout this country for whatever political affiliation for whatever they say. This is the thing about being online as well. When you go around, you know, I go everywhere. I try to go everywhere. And I'm trying to meet people everywhere. And when I meet these people, almost all the people, and some of them are having a bad day, some of them have had a past, whatever, but most people, pretty pleasant, right? It's easy to forget that online. Because online, people have the safety to be a troll, and there's also bots. So you could go through your life and bump into people all day and have nothing but beautiful experiences. But then you get online and you post a picture of yourself because you're happy about, you know, maybe something that you bought and you look good in. And there's all the comments under it. Why are you wearing that skirt, bitch? It's like that is happening in real life, but that is not real life, right? The people that you meet in person are real life. The people that you meet every day, that's real life, right? So I'm not saying it's real life as in it doesn't matter. I'm specifically saying that like the grace that you give in person is that's our better nature. That's what we would hopefully have all the time. It's being online that makes people monsters to you before you meet them. You look at those pinpoints and there are people that are worried about us falling into the trap of another civil war, like so much hate, right? And I personally don't think that's gonna happen. I'm not just hopeful, I actually don't think that's gonna happen because if I'm being honest with everyone in here, we don't have the grit. I'm not saying that there aren't people with guns. I'm not saying that people have murderous intentions for their fellow Americans. I'm saying that as a country, we would get tired too fast. We would. Like it would be day 8 and there'd be people in America wake up on whatever side you on being like, again? No, I'm not saying that violence is impossible, and I pray it doesn't happen. I pray even more now that it doesn't happen than I did before, but I think that it's not going to split up the way that it did. You got to remember, the country was full of colonies, and travel was difficult. So when the country split and we had our full-on civil war, it was a different time truly, right? And now you have family that lives here, you have family that lives over there, you have family who's moving. Because we're too interconnected now in a way that I think is good, in a way that actually forms a union, right? We're quilted together now. So no matter how you split us up, whether it's north and south, east and west, eventually, whatever side of the war you're on, eventually someone would be like, I just want a good taco. You know, I believe what I believe in, whatever, but I cannot have another bagel. I am stopped up. For my health, I can't do it. And we don't know anything yet. Like we really don't. Everyone's talking, right? It just happened. So everybody is talking, you know? It happened like 6 hours ago and everybody's talking, everybody's speculating. There's already the conspiracy theories, there's already like some vitriol started. There's already, we don't know, and we can't act like we know just because we feel a lot, right? Because this is the other thing. You talk about pinpoints in time, you talk about checkpoints. Civil War then leads to Lincoln's assassination. That's another checkpoint that we cannot come back from, because once things are on the table, they're on the table for the rest of time. That's why you have to be careful what you say and what you do, you know? And so then you fast forward even more. It makes me think about the assassination attempt on Reagan. Because Reagan, you know, Reagan still is one of those figures that's like either beloved or absolutely despised, right? The policies they put forward and aftermath afterward, you know, people feel how they feel about it, right? But when you think about that person that shot Reagan, right? We were in a different time of division back then. It was still pretty, you know, relatively civil, relatively ideal by today's standards, right? But let's say we had lost our minds then and been like, oh, this is a plot, this is an inside job, this is a conspiracy. Let's say we lost our minds when Reagan got shot, and then you actually talk to the shooter, and then you find out why he did it. He's like, oh, I just wanted Jodie Foster to like me. Imagine that, though. Imagine if we had lost our minds. Imagine if we had had some sort of civil war, some sort of backlash, some sort of retribution over here, all for somebody who's like, did Jodie Foster see it, or just trying to find out what Jodie doing? That's my thing. That's my sincere hope, right? I'm hopeful, and I hope you know that. I pray for all of you. I pray for all of us, like I do. And even if you don't subscribe to it, whatever metaphysical subscription you hold, right? You know? Because at the end of the day, we really are all Americans. I know it doesn't feel that way, but every one of us, just by the reaction that y'all had when I told you that somebody died. You know that we all still have our humanity. We don't want to see anything bad actually happen to anybody. Because you don't know that person. You don't know anything about the person that died today. But you know that they were an American. And you know they were a human being, right? And so I think that what I've decided when it happened, and I can only speak for me, I'm not going to tell you what to do. No matter anyone listening to me, you can do what you want. But when I saw it happen, I decided in that moment that this right here is where I'm going to plant my feet, right? I'm not going to let this make me radical one way or the other. I'm not going to lose my mind because one, we don't know. And two, the humanity we show to each other just in passing, that's really important. And honestly, all this is going to be funny again in a minute. I haven't forgotten, like I didn't forget. Like I wasn't like, let me get him with the yuck yucks and now lock the door. Like I just hope, like my sincere hope is that this can be the thing that like scares us straight. You know what I mean? Like this can be the thing. It's like, oh, actually, you know what? I don't actually want any violence. I don't want anything bad to happen. You know what I mean? Because they're snowballs, right? So I just, you know, I think about that, and I think about, if you're not familiar with the show Scared Straight, basically what they do is they take kids, right? Then kids who are pretty bad, right? They're like bad kids, and then and the kids are very hard to root for, because by the beginning of the episode, they're always like, I punched my grandma in her face, right? And then they take them to jail, and they spend a weekend at jail, because it really just takes a weekend. They spend a weekend at jail with the inmates, and then they try to do what they do at home with the inmates. Like, I punched my grandma in the face, and then one of the inmates is like, kiss me. And it's just, it changes, right? It changes the vibe. And I'm not saying it works for every kid, by the way. I'm not saying that this is a foolproof thing. We can talk about child psychology however you want, but I'm saying for the kids that it does work for, it was actually something bad happening that woke them up, right? It wasn't just me coming to my senses one day. It was like, this is rock bottom. You know? You don't just wait for rock bottom. You don't just try to fall until you find it. You can decide it for yourself. This feels like granite. I think I'll stop here, right? But I also know that, like, sometimes if you don't say anything, if the thing goes unsaid, People think it goes unthought, right? And if you don't reach out to people, people don't know you care about them. I care truly, and people are gonna feel the way they feel about me or feel about me talking about this, but I care about every single American in a serious way. We're a country, and we're a country of people that are different. We're a family of people that sometimes hate each other. That's what family does most of the time. I went and got a dentist through unconventional means. Basically, my dentist was handing out coupons. You know the little door knocker coupons that they put on the doorknob? Okay, so my dentist had been putting those on the doors in my neighborhood, and so I came home one day and I grabbed it and came inside. It was that and 2 pizza coupons. And I was reading it. I really don't even remember what the deals were, but this is when everybody was trying to make everything a coupon, like in 2013, 14, when everybody was like, Groupon was big and all this stuff like that. I don't remember what the deals were, but it was like 2 teeth, get 1 free. Whatever it was, I don't remember. All I remember is there was a teeth cleaning on there. And so I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go get my teeth cleaned at my new dentist, because if this dentist has coupons, this is the dentist for me. I have no money. And I didn't have dental or anything, so I was like, I need any break I can get. Now, I went there, and the dental assistant was very professional. She was very good, And that's my thing, is that any professional of any type, you want them to be confident in their competence, right? That's why you lean on them, because they look like they know what they're doing, and they have the confidence somebody that knows what they're doing, so you just leave it to them, right? If there's any point where you have to question that, it ruins the whole I've been on the bus before where the bus driver looked lost. And I'm sitting, I'm like, why is he checking his phone? But I'm in this dentist office. The dental assistant is amazing, and she's very quick, and she's asking me the questions. They even do the X-ray of my teeth, where they put the thing in their mouth. They're like, doo, 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 doo. That's your teeth, right? She did all that stuff, and then my dentist comes in, and my new dentist, walks in, and he is very clearly missing a tooth. And it's not like a wide smile, back of the mouth chewing tooth. This is one of the stars of the show. This is one of the teeth that when you smile goes like, ba-da, And so he missed, I don't know how to describe this, but he missing the tooth hard. He might as well be missing 2 teeth the way he missing this tooth, because it's not a center tooth, but it's one of those teeth where, because it's missing, I don't know how big it should be, so it feel like he missing the whole front row. It's very distracting, right? And so then he come in, and I don't know if it was recent that he lost his tooth or something, but the space in relation to his tongue is causing some slippage, and it's making him lisp, right? And so he walks in, and he's like, hi, how are you? Have a seat. Because I stood up to shake his hand and everything. He's like, yeah, have a seat. And I'm like, and then this dude is like, so he's sitting next to me, right? And he's talking, and he's asking me all the questions. And then it's like, how much do you floss? And this, so I was getting upset in the chair, because he's asking me, how much do you floss? And I'm like, oh, I floss every day. He's like, are you sure? And I'm like, I got so upset. I didn't say this out loud. I said it in my head, but I was like, okay, but which one of us is missing? Do you know what I mean? How dare you question what I'm doing over here when I'm working with a full set. You know what I mean? Like that, that's why are you Thor? Like, I was like, that's unacceptable. Because he was getting snippy with it, which I didn't like. That's attitude, right? And so then I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. And then I don't like how he's going about it, because you know how the dentist will, sometimes the dental assistant will do it, but sometimes the dentist specifically will go through with the floss again and go over the dental assistant's work, if they didn't feel like they did it right. And then he was grabbing all the tools, you know, like the little sharp, little pokey, the tools of the devil, right? He was grabbing all of them, and he was in my mouth and everything. And I don't know how to describe this, but I don't like, he being rough with my mouth, you know what I mean? And he being rough in a way that's like, you know, like when you driving and somebody got a beat up car, so they driving reckless because they don't care. They don't care anymore what happens to their car, so they might as well bust up your car because their car's already doomed, right? And you'll see it'll be like a busted tail light and just no bumper at all, and they taking some real risks without turning lights on, right? They won't have that blinker on at all. They just be taking whatever lane they want because they're like, hit me, I dare you, right? Hit me. You might knock something back right. You'll be doing me a favor. Go ahead and hit me, okay? And so that's how he's being in my mouth, because he's really like going hard. And then he gets to the tooth on me that he missing, and he really give it a, and I'm like, that's not okay, you know? Just because it's over for you doesn't mean, like I still have a future, you know what I mean? Like, how dare you do that? And so then, you know, I don't know if it's because I'm young and I'm just like not really thinking, or because I'm awkward in a lot of social situations anyway. But finally, I was just like, so what happened?
What just happened?
And then this man had the nerve to go, what, this? What else could I mean, sir? No, there's something on your lip. No. He's like, oh, this? I was like, yeah. And then he takes the tools out, you know, the little hose that they have in your mouth, and just sucking up all. So he puts that to the side, puts the tools down, puts his hands on his knees, and goes. Got sullen, right? I felt bad for asking. He got really quiet and sullen. He was like, I hoped you wouldn't notice. Sir, you came in here teeth first. Smiling in my face, and you thought I wouldn't notice one of the main teeth.
Rude.
I can't stress this enough. Like, it was one of the teeth that if he committed a crime, that would be how they got him. Like, that's... Do you know what I mean? Like if he stole something tonight, they'd be like, it was this one that was... You know what I mean? Didn't even have a gold tooth in there. Didn't even have something to be like, oh, I'm a different type of dentist, right? It didn't... Just avoid. And it was big enough I could see through, like I could see his throat. Like it was... He got sullen, and he was like, it's actually recent. I was out with some friends. And this is my thing. Okay, like, I know he telling me the story because it wasn't even my business, so he didn't have to tell me anything. So I know he's doing me a favor by telling me the story, but I swear to you, this man hit every S possible in this story. He didn't avoid any of them. I was like, what are you doing right now? Bro, every single S? That's crazy. So he's like, so I was at Buffalo Wild Wings. I was out with some friends, and we were watching the sports on the little sports center they have with all the TVs and everything. There was one of my friends that I hadn't seen in a very long time from college. It was very serendipitous, and I was like, don't do that. You didn't need that one at all. That was... You could have said fortunate. That. And so then, you know, we're sitting there, and you know, I was having a good old time. I was sucking the sauce off my fingers and everything. And then there were some guys a few booths away that I would start jawing at one of my friends. I guess they knew him from his past or something. And so then they would start talking, you know, over at us. And so then, you know, we went over there, and then, you know, they were out here talking shit. And it's like truly some of the most Chicago shit I've ever heard in my life, because these like out here talking shit, and then, you know, I went ahead and I popped one in their mouth, and then he popped me right back, and I swallowed. So that's why I'm missing the tooth, and I heard that, and I was like, oh, is that all? Okay, go ahead, go back to work. Yeah. You a good dentist, you was not a good fighter. I get you, okay. Yeah, maybe next time let them talk, you know. I know that y'all consume a ton of American news because we're right there, and we're pretty loud about it. So I know y'all saw the mugshot and everything. Sure. I was fascinated by that day, but not by him, not by Trump. Most fascinating person to me in that whole day, because, you know, Trump went in, turned himself in, and he had a lot of co-defendants, like 10 plus co-defendants that also had to turn themselves in that day, take their mugshot, everything. But the person that I'm the most fascinated by is this dude named Harrison Floyd. Right? Now, Harrison Floyd is one of the co-defendants with Trump, and he's the only one out of all those people that did not get a bond agreement, right? He had to sit in jail until he could see a judge. He's also the only one out of all those people that is black. I should also point out, he's also the only one out of all those people that allegedly assaulted the FBI agent that tried to serve him his subpoena, all right? So basically, this dude had to sit in jail because he tried to fight mail, okay? So basically what happens is, FBI show up at the door, try to give him his subpoena. He went for the FBI agent's gun, all right? Then he later admitted to police, if he had got the gun, he would have shot the FBI agent and killed him. He also admitted to police that if he had known it was the FBI at the door, he would have brought his gun and shot him and killed him. All right? That's what we like to call a thought. All right? What was he thinking? Never in the history of niggerdom has a nigga been this dumb. This is the most insane thing I've seen in a long time. He must have forgot he was black. What could possibly be going through your head? That was so insane. It was so crazy, it even made me feel bad for Trump for a second. Because how does he not have one single normal black fan? Every time one of his fans that's black makes the news is always going through something, you know? It's terrible. You know, Trump has a reputation as a racist, and he always talking about how he's the least racist person you could ever meet. I don't know. After this, I'm inclined to maybe believe him. He be hanging out with the black people I would never hang out with. That's like, truly, I don't know. This dude like a Statue of Liberty for wayward niggas. This is astounding. He's just standing like, bring me your ashy, your dusty, your dumbass masses. The story was so crazy, I'm not gonna lie, I even felt bad for FBI agent. I never thought I'd say that in my life. I even felt bad for the FBI agent, because if somebody goes for your gun for a split second, you gotta think they're going for your dick. You gotta be like, I had this popped in my head out of nowhere. I had this date years ago where we both admitted to each other on the date that for both of us, it was our first date in a year. And it was really great. That was such a great thing for us to share, because then we both knew in that moment we were about to be trash. Like, this was... Neither one of us are getting each other's best. We're very rusty. And it actually ended up being a great date. Like, it was a great little hangout. We were getting along wonderfully. The vibe was not there, right? We weren't clicking in that way, but we were like, no, this is like, it's just great to spend time with a cool person, you know? And so at the end of the date, it was like a non-verbal thing. It was just a thing that we were both thinking. We just went ahead and we gave it a shot. Just one kiss, just to see. Because we've been getting along great for 3 hours. What if there's a spark, you know? You don't want to miss out on that. And I should mention that she's not just a lovely person, wonderful human. She also has the biggest hands of anyone I've ever met in my life. Her hands were huge, okay? And I'm not coming down on her hands, because I don't know if you noticed my hands since I've been up here, but I could use some more manly digits. These are not the hands I would have picked if they had been handing out hands. These are piano fingers at best. I was jealous of her hands the whole day. We went to an arcade and we were playing whack-a-mole, and she was using the mallet and her hands. Her hands were so strong, she accidentally opened a locked door. Bathroom door was locked. Somebody was in there. She didn't know. She just twisted it. And we all heard the pop. It was a pop because she broke the lock. She has a locksmith right here. They just popped right and opened it. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Spent the whole day jealous of those hands. And so we went to kiss, right? And as we went to kiss, I felt something. I felt something up. I felt something up the back of my head, and I realized it was her hand. She was cupping the back of my head with her hand. I'd never been cupped before. I didn't even know that was a move people were doing in real life. Like, and if you were far away, it must have looked like my whole head fit in her hand. It must look like she was cupping a baby in her hand. And then I could feel this. I could feel this pressure from her kiss that was knocking me off balance a little bit. And that's when I realized, I'm like, wait, this bitch trying to dip me. I started fighting the dip. I was like, you ain't gonna dip me. You ain't gonna dip me. I'm a man. You ain't gonna dip me. Because think about it, if we have this kiss and there's a spark and we start going out, you gotta establish parameters early. If you let her dip you on the first kiss, the first time y'all smash, your legs will be in the air, bro. That's just the law. She already established dominance, all right? And so I'm fighting. I'm like, you ain't gonna dip me. You ain't gonna dip me. I ain't going. I'm sure I gave her the worst kiss of her life because my core was on fire. So I'm sure I was kissing just like. I don't know. In those moments of the kiss could have been more than like 8 seconds, but a lot was going on. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know. In that kiss, I kind of felt, at least what I imagined, like I almost feel like I felt like a woman for a second, because I was like, you know what I mean? Because I was like safe but in danger. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like she had me, but she might take me. You know?